Hi, welcome to Getting There with Paul Puckett. I'm your host. We're in First Landing State Park in Virginia Beach, Virginia, where the temperature is 35 degrees. Getting there is about the journey, not the destination. And the point of this podcast and future podcasts in this series is to remind you that the journey itself should be enjoyable and it should be fun, even if it involves investing. Today we're going to feature a short video vignette with 2 stars. I will be playing myself, representing a client who wishes to acquire something from you. You will be the co-star. Of course, you'll be off camera, but you'll have an opportunity as I pause in places to think about what you might say to a very unusual and interesting offer. I ask that you open your mind. It's a bit bizarre, but the purpose is to get you to think. In recessions and depressions of the past, someone once coined the phrase, which I'm sure you've heard, "Brother, can you spare a dime?" And so I ask that you co-star with me in a short video vignette. Brother, can you spare some time? Hi, thank you for joining me. Yes, I'm Paul Puckett, and I sent you the letter. I take it you got it since you're here. I have several meetings like this one scheduled for today, so I hope you don't mind if I get straight to the point. Before I describe what my client wants to buy from you, may I have your permission to share with you some very interesting and unusual information? My client was able to obtain information about lifespans, not average, but real lifespans of real people, not just those who've already come and gone, but people like you and me. When it comes to this particular client, unfortunately, what he found is he only has 2 years left, and he's a relatively young man. He wishes to have me represent him in some unusual transactions with people like yourself. No, I can't tell you your date or manner that you will be passing, but I can tell you you will have primarily a healthy life and make it past 100. The client did not give me any details beyond that, and I have no idea whether he can actually affect this transaction. It is unusual. Oh, the price. Well, that's for you to set. I may or may not have mentioned, but the client is extraordinarily wealthy. And price is no object. It's the time he wants to buy. And he has assured me, and I have verified his financial ability, that whatever price you name, if you're willing to part with just 3 years of your life, he will be happy to purchase it. Now, you'll still make it to 97, which is a ripe age. And you'll still have a healthy life. You'll just have, well, a lot more money. Oh, we weren't expecting an answer today. You take all the time you need. I think what you need to decide is whether you're willing to sell some of it, and if so, answer the question, what is your time worth? Give it some thought. And if you decide you'd like to sell, give me a call. I'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining me in Brother, Can You Spare Some Time? Although I didn't hear any of your responses or see you, I'm sure you did a great job. Making videos like Brother, Can You Spare Some Time was fun. And I'll do more of them. It was intended to provoke thought, your thought, and it ended up provoking my own. You see, I let some people watch Brother, Can You Spare Some Time to see if it would have the intended reaction. One of the principles that I firmly believe in is that we're all different, and I should have anticipated that everyone would have a different reaction. Some, like me, reacted with, "Paul, have you lost your mind? Nobody would sell their time. It's priceless." And that was the point, is that time is worth much more than money. Money has a price. You can look at the dollar bill and see that it's worth $1. Time? What's a minute worth? How would you calculate it? It has a limited supply, and a lot of demand. So it must be worth a lot. Another reaction I got was, given this recession, unemployment, and what's happened to a lot of people's net worth, including my own in some ways, is, hey, Paul, this is a cool concept. If you get a buyer, let me know. And these people told me I would get that reaction, and maybe that was yours. If it was, I hope it provoked some thought, or does now, and you think through, do you really believe that? And if so, why? And do you have the power to change those thoughts? I think you do. A very interesting reaction I should have anticipated came from people close to me. They said, well, I wouldn't sell my time, and I agree with you, it's priceless, but I would give up some of it. Really? Well, if you have children or grandchildren or loved ones who have a terminal condition and you could give them more time, you would be giving away something of yours that is priceless to somebody who would also value it as priceless. It was an unintended thought that came from the video, but I'm glad they shared it. I would give some of mine for my kids, and I bet you would for yours or for someone you loved. So perhaps, brother, can you spare some time was more thought-provoking than I intended. Isn't that interesting? Because that's part of the point. Life does not always work out the way we think it will, and our time is not always what we think it will be. You have a limited amount. The main point I want you to remember as an investor is that money is not your life, or at least it shouldn't be. And that perhaps by getting outside in a place like First Landing State Park, taking a hike, or just sitting under a tree might give you an opportunity to take a break and think things through. The whole Investor Network was created and is here to remind you of you being a human. None of it is scripted, which is why occasionally I'll mix tenses as I did in the last sentence, because it should be spontaneous. And I appreciate your taking your time to watch it. One conclusion I did come to from all of this is that perhaps we need some perspective, not just on our money, but on our lives now. How are they different from our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents? How far back do we have to go to find out that perhaps, even though it doesn't feel like it, we live in truly great times? Thank you for joining me for this introductory podcast. I appreciate you taking the time. I had fun. I hope you did. I look forward to seeing you next week as we'll take a look at a little bit of history in the hopes of providing some perspective. Until then, enjoy your time.